You've probably had a drink this week, maybe without thinking twice about it. Now picture the very first one, ever. Not brewed in a factory. Not bottled. Just found. Somewhere, some ancient human bit into old fruit. Fruit that had been sitting too long. Fruit that had started to rot and ferment. And something strange happened. That fruit made them feel different. Warm. Loose. A little bit dizzy. They had just discovered alcohol. Completely by accident. No one invented it on purpose. Nature invented it first. Humans just happened to notice. So the real question isn't who invented alcohol. It's when we started noticing it worked. And the answer is way earlier than you'd guess. Not thousands of years ago. Try 10 million. Before humans. Before cavemen. Before we even walked on two legs. Something in our ancestors was already changing. Getting ready for alcohol before it even existed. That sounds impossible. But your own body still proves it. Let's go back and find out why. 10 million years back. Chapter 1 ends here. Let's rewind further. Chapter 2. Why alcohol might predate humans entirely. 10 million years ago, in ancient forests, our ape ancestors ate mostly fruit. Fallen fruit. Fruit already on the ground. And fallen fruit does something predictable. It starts to ferment. Wild yeast breaks down the sugar. And that fermentation creates alcohol. Low amounts. But alcohol all the same. So ripe, fermented fruit was everywhere. And it smelled different than unripe fruit. Stronger. Sweeter. Impossible to miss. Ancestors who could smell that fruit had an advantage. More calories, found faster, with less effort. So evolution rewarded a taste for alcohol. Literally rewrote our DNA around it. Scientists found the gene responsible. It's called ADH4. About 10 million years ago, it mutated. Suddenly, our ancestors could break down alcohol 40 times faster. That mutation didn't happen by chance. It happened because it helped them survive. Researchers call this the drunken monkey hypothesis. The idea that loving alcohol kept our ancestors alive, long before a single human existed, which means you didn't inherit a bad habit. You inherited a 10 million-year-old survival skill, one that once meant the difference between starving and eating. So by the time actual humans showed up, we were already built for this. Chapter 3. What our ancestors actually did about it. Fast forward to a cave in modern-day Israel. 13,000 years ago. This was Rakfet Cave, home to a people called the Natufians, hunter-gatherers, long before farming existed. Inside the cave, archaeologists found stone mortars, bowls carved directly into the rock. At first, researchers just wanted to know what people ate, so they tested the residue left behind. What they found stunned them. Traces of wheat and barley, malted, mashed, and fermented. The exact steps for brewing beer. This wasn't an accident anymore. This was a process. A recipe. The oldest evidence of deliberately made alcohol on Earth. 13,000 years old. That's nearly twice as old as researchers expected. And here's the part that breaks the timeline. Wheat and barley weren't even domesticated yet. There was no agriculture. No farms. These were wild grains, gathered by hand. Just to make beer. Which raises an enormous question. Bread needs farming. Beer, back then, didn't. So which came first, beer or bread? For a long time, the answer seemed obvious. Humans farmed grain to eat. Beer came later. Rakfet Cave flipped that theory upside down. The beer traces are older than the earliest bread, which means alcohol might have come first, before farming even existed as an idea, before bread was ever baked. Some researchers think thirst for beer helped start farming. Chapter 4. How alcohol may have built civilization. Even more surprising, where the mortars were found. Not a kitchen. Not a home. A grave. Rakfet Cave was a burial site. The beer wasn't for daily meals. It was made for funerals. A way to honor the dead. And to bring the living closer together. Grief, shared around a bowl of fermented grain. That's a powerful clue about why alcohol stuck around. It wasn't really about getting drunk. It was about gathering people in one place. Sharing something rare. Something deliberately made. A group ritual, tying strangers into a community. Some archaeologists think that same pull, later, built farms. People needed stable grain supplies. For beer, not just bread. So the desire to keep drinking may have pushed early farming forward, which means the drink came before the field, before the plow, before the harvest. One of civilization's biggest turning points might trace back to something as simple as fermented fruit, discovered by accident millions of years earlier. So next time you raise a glass, you're repeating something 10 million years in the making.